Hey guys, this is Ryan Rieger with Streams of Income Radio. So glad that you're joining us. Remember, you can get my book for free at streamsofincome.com. Also, all the show notes, you can get links at streamsofincomeradio.com. So if you want to listen to a replay of any of these episodes or hear any of the links or check out any of the links that we mentioned on any of these episodes, I know a lot of you are driving in your car. Maybe you're outside walking and listening to this, so you don't have a pen and paper to write down all these links that we may mention. So just remember one website, streamsofincomeradio.com. So guys, I'm super excited about this one. I know we've had my friend Jenny Hunt on, and so I want to get away from having just all guys that we're talking to on this program, because this is not a guy thing. There are so many ladies doing this business too, doing it very, very successfully. And I have one today that is doing it very successfully. This is my really good friend. I've known her, gosh, honey, since I was in 7th grade.
Yep, I was in 5th grade. Yeah.
Yeah, this is Honey Woods, a really good friend of mine. Again, I've known her for a long time. We don't have to tell you how long. It's been since I was in 7th grade and she was in 5th grade, but it's been a while. She's a homeschool mom of 6 kids. It's amazing that she is able to do this. She allowed her business, allowed her husband to quit his job that he absolutely hated. We're going to get into that story. And so we're just going to be talking about what this business has done for her, what it's done for her family. And guys, put yourself in this position, because it can do it for you too. I want this program to be one that helps you dream. And I'm going to have all kinds of people in this program, some that are doing, a few $100s extra a month in their pockets, to folks like Honey that are doing a lot more than that have allowed a family member or themselves to quit their jobs or do things that they normally wouldn't be able to do. So, Honey, thank you so much for being on here with me. I'm so excited for this. How are you today?
Great. Thanks for having me on here.
Good. So let's talk about your story. Just go back to you can go back as far as you want, but what led you into Amazon? And, let's just have a conversation.
Well, I had the great opportunity of having Ryan Rieger as a friend. So I do remember, really, my husband, like you had mentioned, it was just trying to find a way, something different for our family. My husband was deployed overseas to Afghanistan a few years back, and while he was gone, I remember having a conversation with you, and we were talking about some things, and you had mentioned that this is something that you were doing, just talking about physical products, selling items on Amazon. And I was intrigued and thought maybe that was something that we could do, but didn't really do anything with it. It was just kind of something that sat in the back of my mind. Yeah. And so I remember that. And then I remember when my husband came back from his deployment, he had worked at a job that was extremely stressful. He was very good at it. He succeeded at it. It paid the bills well. It was technically what most would consider a good job, but it was extremely stressful. He worked in the prison system, which, as you can imagine, is just,
oh my gosh,
so much stress with that. And on top of that, he worked 12-hour shifts, and just the nature of the job and where he worked, they would switch you from days to nights and just back and forth. And so every 6 months to a year, we could expect a complete upheaval of our life, our schedule, his schedule.
Wow.
I tried to keep the kids on the same schedule, but it was really challenging to have, dad working 12-hour nights, and then all of a sudden he's working 12-hour days. And
wow.
It was a lot of stress, as you can imagine. And we had, and we have a house full of kids. Like you said, we have 6 children. So he had, once again, got put on night shift for 12 hours, and we just started talking like, maybe this is something we could try. I don't know that we really thought, hey, we can jump in and do this full time and do this real thing, but we had heard stories. We'd heard of other people that were doing this. And so we thought, let's just try it. Let's see if this is something that works for us. We didn't have a lot of extra income and money to jump in. You think of starting a new business, you think, I have to have so much money. And this wasn't something that we had, but we knew this was a possibility that you start with very little.
Do you have any idea how much it was?
I want to say that it was, I know it was less than $1,000. I would say maybe a few $100s really is what, so we bought some of the supplies, which cost a little bit for us, that we wanted to do it well. It probably wasn't even all necessary, but we started with a handful of supplies and then started finding things that we could buy that were I mean, dollar store kind of items, just really inexpensive items because we didn't have a big budget, but we wanted to see how it worked.
Yeah.
We wanted to test it out. And so we started doing that. And then slowly we began to realize maybe there's a little more to this. And I'll be honest, at the beginning, I think it's like with anything else, when you're starting something new, you think this is so incredibly hard because it's a new challenge, something new. I think about teaching my kids how to tie their shoes, and it is like the hardest thing ever for them when you're starting something out of, I'm never going to be able to learn this, Mom. And you do. And then after you do it for a while, it's easy. It's second nature. So,
right.
I think that at the beginning we would think, how in the world are people doing this and making a living? Because we just started out and it seemed overwhelming. But as we got to do it more, we listened to trainings, things like this. We read things, we talked to other people that were doing it, and we learned so much that now it's second nature and it's so much easier.
Yeah.
And we did that for a little while. And then actually just last year, my husband was able to leave his job and come home.
Love that.
It is. There's so many little steps in between there, but just the miracle for us was that that was an opportunity. That was an option. He didn't have to, but he had the choice to say, yes, I want to not be stuck in this job where I don't get to control my hours. I don't get to control the time that I spend with my family. There was holidays and events that he would have to miss just because of the nature of his work. And we all understood that, but to know there was another option out there was huge for us. And working towards that goal, just keeping that goal in mind of it's possible to do this. That was huge for us to be able to have him come home.
Gosh, that is awesome. Guys, these are the stories that I love. And it makes me even more happy that it happened to a good friend of mine. And so I am addicted to success stories like this. So as you're hearing Honey talk, and we're going to talk more as we go along, we got 3 more segments left. Just imagine yourself doing the same thing, because she just put into practice things that everybody else in my community are doing, and it worked for them. And she kept going. It was hard at first. She started with less than $500 and just went to dollar stores and thrift stores and found items that you can flip on Amazon. And we'll talk about the business side of it, what that actually looks like, what catches her eye when she's in a store. What do we even mean by selling on Amazon? Well, we'll get to into some of the nuts and bolts here. But also she mentioned about buying supplies. Just for you that have no clue what she's talking about, when you're selling on Amazon, she's using Fulfillment by Amazon, which is their service where you can ship items to them. You don't have to have your house full of things waiting for somebody to buy it and you ship it to them. Amazon will store it for you. And when a customer goes online and buys that item, Amazon will ship it to that customer and then they pay you. And so when you send items to them, there are certain specifications that you have to follow. So if it's a breakable thing, you might need to put it into bubble wrap or into a poly bag, and you have to have these little stickers to put on it so that when Amazon scans it at the warehouse, they know that that item belongs to you. So boxes, box tape, that type of stuff too. And guys, just know this is all something that you can also find for free many times. We have folks from our community that go dumpster diving for boxes. And so you can totally find boxes for free. This business can cost you very little, almost nothing to get started. That's why in my first segment, or my very first show, I told you that I have never seen any opportunity like this, where somebody can they started with a few $100s. You can start with nothing and get started. Yeah. You could go to a friend or a neighbor and say, hey, I'm selling online. Do you have stuff that needs to be sold? I'll sell it for you and split the profit. So I know Honey started with a few $100s, but if you're listening and you don't even have a few $100s to invest, that is totally all right. Because Honey and I have seen in the community that we help run, we've seen people that get started with nothing and build up a really serious business. So Honey, that's awesome. I'm so glad that you got to bring Kevin home. Guys, these are the stories that I want more of. That's why I'm doing this show. This is what excites me. And I'm so excited to get into the second segment. We'll talk with more of with Honey about the how of doing this. How does she source items? Where does she source items? What's an Amazon business look like? And how does she do it with 6 kids at home And you just started homeschooling, right? Just a couple days ago.
Correct. Yes. I'm
Yeah.
homeschooling all 6 of them. Yep.
And you have a business that supports you guys. That's incredible to me. And so there's no excuse. Anybody can do it. If somebody has an excuse about not having any time, Honey would be the person, and she's making it work. So guys, we'll catch up with Honey in the next episode. Remember, this is Ryan Rieger with Streams of Income Radio. Okay. All right. The next one will be 11 minutes. I talked a lot at the last part of that. I don't like to necessarily do that, but okay.
But you made it fit in the time.
Yeah. Well, that is to me is the challenge.
Yeah.
Is, looking at the clock and wait, I got 1 more minute left. What are we going to do here? Really can't get into something else like a subject. Anything else about your story you think we should cover that would be really important to bring out, or anything else you want to talk about regarding your story? We can get into opportunities later.
I don't know. I mean, if it comes up, I'm not really thinking of anything specific. I think because I get asked all the time, just different ways of doing it with 6 kids, or what else you mentioned? Just kind of, like what does it look like? What do I actually do? Kind of stuff.
Let's get into that in this segment, and then we can also I'll make sure we talk about the outsourcing side of it, and then really just speaking to the people who are listening. Maybe that'll be a different segment. Freedom and flexibility. We've kind of already discussed a little bit of that, but we definitely want to hit that home too. So, okay. All right. When I start this off, I have to reintroduce myself again. It's kind of weird, but again, for those people that are just tuning in right at the beginning of a segment, they're like, "Who is this guy? Who is this girl? What's this show?" So it's like restarting all over again. Welcome back, guys. This is Ryan Rieger with Streams of Income Radio. Remember, you can get my book, Streams of Income, for free at streamsofincome.com. And at streamsofincomeradio.com, you can hear all the replays, all the show notes, every link that's ever mentioned in any of my shows. You'll be able to find them there. So we're talking with my really good friend, Honey Woods. Honey has been my friend since 7th grade. She's a couple years younger than me. She's in my brother's class. And it excites me like crazy to be able to have her on, because I love success stories, and her husband are one of those in my community. And it just is so cool. So we were talking with Honey about her Amazon business, how it provided an opportunity for her husband to quit his job that he hated. He was good at, but he absolutely hated. And we're going to dig more into this. So as we're talking about selling on Amazon, Honey, what's an Amazon business look like? What's it look like for you? I know it evolves. Maybe you're not at the point where you started. It looks different now. But let's take us back to when you started. You said you were sourcing from dollar stores. Why would somebody buy anything at a dollar store on Amazon?
I was really just, because we had such a limited budget, I was trying to find the cheapest stuff I could find. So I, look at dollar store items, or there was other places that would have party items. I remember we did a lot of party items.
I remember that. You had a conversation. You were telling me about some of your sources. Yep.
Yeah. So they were just those dirt cheap items that I'm thinking I could sell a lot of these and make a profit on every one of these items. So basically the premise of all these things is to buy low and sell high. So, but you want to make sure, the value is whatever people think that it's worth. So for me, I'm going to look at an item and see this is only $1. This is really cheap. But for someone else, they think, wow, I'll pay like $6 for that. Yeah. And so those are the kind of items that I would be finding. I remember we really just bought the cheapest items we could find, and we would fill boxes with them. Like you said, we had sent in stuff, FBA, Fulfillment by Amazon. So we send it in. So I wasn't having to pack up things and ship them every single item out, which is what a lot of people think that we do. We just send in a huge box of a lot of things. We have ways to research and know what will actually sell, because you want to be finding things that people are already looking for. Right. This isn't me deciding this is a really cool item and I want everybody out there to buy this. It is, what are people buying? What are they looking for? And that's what I want to provide them.
Ooh, that's key. Okay, let's hit on that. Let's talk about that for a second. So guys, she's not going into a store and saying, ooh, I like this one, this party party supply thing. It's blue, and I love the color blue, and I think everybody wants blue party supplies. That is the old model of like, oh, I think somebody's going to like this. Let's put it online and hope it sells.
Yeah.
He has, tell us, I mean, what are you using? How do you even know something is going to sell? What's the tool that you're using that helps that?
Well, first starting out, there actually is a free app on my phone, the Amazon Seller app. And that's what I would recommend to really anybody starting out. If you don't have resources to buy all the fancy gadgets and programs and apps and other things out there, it is absolutely free. And you can start out with that. It'll show you, what is selling. It'll show you what price that it sells for. It gives you an idea of those things. And when we do this, I also don't go out and buy, 50 of one thing just because it looks like somebody's buying it and it looks like they're buying this price. I test a little bit. I send in a few things, see if it sells. And if it does, then I send in more.
That's
There's
awesome.
a lot of things that I've learned by doing this.
Sure.
You have a few things where you send in and I thought somebody was going to buy that and they just so it's good to test those things, to try it out small, see what works, and keep sending those in.
Totally. Okay. So yeah, she started with a few $100s. She didn't go to a party store or a dollar store and buy $300 worth of one item because it looked good on her app. And so she mentioned the Amazon Seller app. There'll be a link in the show notes for that. This is an app that you scan a UPC code at the store, or maybe you type in the product name, the brand name, and you see if that item is selling on Amazon. When you find it that it's selling, you're looking at, essentially there's some data that it gives you that you can make an informed decision. You're not guessing. You can make an informed decision as whether to purchase that item or not. And you're looking at things like how fast does it sell, and that's sales rank. And we can talk about that on another episode. But we talk about sales rank's one, but also is it profitable? So that app will show you how much that item is selling for on Amazon, and based on fees, Amazon fees, how much you would get back from Amazon if you sold that item there. Amazon's going to take their fees out. It's going to cost a little bit to ship to Amazon, but you're getting their rates because they're huge, and you get to take advantage of their rates. So it's a lot cheaper for you to ship through Amazon than it is to you just to do it on your own. So that app is going to tell you, you sell this item for $10, you're going to get $6 back from Amazon, for example. And let's say the item is at a dollar store, it cost you $1. So 6 minus 1 means you made a $5 profit on that item. And the app tells you that. And so now there's even more tools that have come out, a tool called Keepa that Honey is an expert on. And we'll have a link for that too. That's to give you a wider history, a whole year's worth. You can look at a whole year's worth of data on some items and know, is this really going to sell? But even with that, guys, she said something that's really key is she's not buying a lot of one thing. We're going very wide. So as my mentor, Jim Cockrum, he was on the second episode with me. He mentions a mile wide, inch deep. So you're spreading your money around. So just like if we were going to invest in the stock market, you're probably not going to take all of your money and put it in one stock. This is the same way with selling on Amazon. You're not going to take all your money and put it in one item, because some items might sell fast, some items might sell slow, some items might not sell at all, and you're going to have to, get your money back out of those quickly. Maybe you recall them and just take them back to the store. We've had people do that. So guys, this is very, very, very low risk. We're not talking about putting all your money in, all your eggs in one basket. So, all right, we're talking about dollar stores. What does your business look like now? Talk about what you see. You've graduated a little bit. I mean, not that you could still source at dollar stores. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But what are you kind of doing now?
I do a lot now. If you talk to some people that do this, you'll hear them talk about just scanning and guessing and trying to find things. And I will say that there is something, for me, I love the thrill of the hunt. So I do like going in stores and finding items there, looking for those things that are hard to find that you just know that you're going to be able to bring that to Amazon and have, so many customers that would be thrilled to be able to find that hard to find item. So I do like that. And we have those on occasion, but the majority of our business is actually replenishables, where I can go through with a list and it will, here are items that I know every time I go into a Walmart, Walgreens, Target, whatever store it is. Or I do this as well. We've added a lot of online arbitrage. So I have websites that I know I can order from consistently. And based on the Keepa data, the
Mm-hmm.
program that you were talking about. Based on that, I know that it's going to consistently sell for around this price.
Uh-huh.
I don't have to wait for a clearance deal. I don't have to check out the clearance aisles and the random hidden things on a corner of a shelf somewhere. I
Right.
can consistently just go into a store or look at a website with a list, and this
Mm.
is what I'm going to get. That has been key for me in doing this with kids, because
Yes.
it makes it, it's a huge time saver that I'm not
Yeah.
just guessing and wondering. It makes it a little more stable there for us.
Right. Absolutely. Okay. This is another thing I wanted to make sure we got to talk about with Honey, and she touched on it without even me asking the question. Replens versus clearance. In the third episode, I had Jimmy Smith on. He and I created a course, mostly all his content. It's actually all of his content. I just was the one that helped him put it together into webinars and create a course out of it. He talks about replens. These are items that sell over and over again. Now, these aren't items, not necessarily toilet paper, paper towels, Oreo cookies. It's literally, and those could be replenishables. These are items that are replenishable to the seller. So they're items that just sell over and over again, and they don't have to be sold to the same buyer. So a hammer, for example, is an item that could be replenishable. Honey finds some hammers at Walmart. She buys 5 of them, sends them in. Maybe I buy one. And then my parents buy one. And then my mother-in-law buys one. And that happens over and over again every month. There's a different person buying it every other day or so. That's a replenishable. It's something that she can count on. This hammer sells 20 times in a month. So I'm going to make sure I have them always in stock. And so that's why she's talking about, she's walking into a store with a list. So let's touch on, we got about a minute left in this segment. Let's talk about that real quick, and then go finish that up in the third segment. But tell us replens versus clearance. What's it like doing clearance versus replens?
The clearance part can be fun and exciting, but it's a lot more work. Where the replens, it's going in with, it's like a shopping list. I know exactly what I need to get. I know exactly what I is going to sell, and I don't have to put as much effort into it. Yes, I will still kind of check on those things and make sure that they're still selling, but for the most part, it's a lot more hands-off. It takes a little more work to find them, but then when you have them, they last a lot longer than a clearance find does.
Yep, absolutely. Yep, guys, that's huge. And that's what we're teaching in the Amazon Legends group that Honey and I are a part of. That's the strategy that allows somebody to have a stable, long-term business, and you're not running all over, the town looking for clearance stuff. That can be fun, and it's like it's a hunt for sure, but it can be stressful, and it's not always predictable. So guys, we'll finish up with Honey next couple episodes. This is Ryan Rieger with Streams of Income Radio. Remember, you can get my book for free at streamsofincome.com. Sorry, I need to do that over. Okay. Let's see, where did it go off at? I'll say right here. Okay. Remember, you can get my book, Streams of Income, for free at streamsofincome.com. Right. The lady who will take this, Vicky, she's awesome. She'll be able to cut and paste.
I was going to say, who does that for you? That's really cool.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. She's amazing. Okay, 11 minutes on this one. Okay, we'll finish talking more about, I don't know if we need to hit replens and clearance again. I'll touch on it real quick. Get into outsourcing on this one. Talk about what it looked like before you outsourced.
I was like, that kind of goes into the, like that's kind of how I'm able to do it with kids.
Yep. Okay. Cool. Then we can get into that, like how you do it all because of outsourcing. What's outsourcing look like? What did it look like before you outsourced? Okay, cool. Welcome back to Streams of Income Radio. I'm your host, Ryan Rieger, and we're talking with my good friend, Honey Woods. Guys, remember, you can get my book for free at streamsofincome.com, along with all of the show notes, links that we mentioned in these episodes. Go to streamsofincomeradio.com for that. So, guys, we're talking with Honey Woods. She's been a friend of mine since 7th grade. She has an amazing Amazon business. It's allowed her husband to come home from a job that he hated. He was good at it, but he hated it. And so I just want you guys to think, like, that this is possible. I want you to know that there is a different way. If you're at a job you hate, if you're stuck in a position or just you're living paycheck to paycheck, that there is opportunity out there. And this is one of those incredible ones that exist. And Honey and Kevin started with a little under, she thinks it was a few $100s that they started with. And you guys can do this with even less. There are people in my community, students of mine, that do it with even less than that. So the barrier to entry is very low. And we're at the end, the risk is very, very low, because we're talking about going very wide and not deep on items. You're not taking your $100 that you have to invest and putting in one item and hoping it sells. And we're talking about a scanning app that you can get that will tell you basically whether it's going to sell or not and how much profit you're going to get. So you're making an informed decision when you're making the purchase. So, Honey, we're talking about replenishable items that sell over and over again, and how that's created a stable income for you guys. You're not running all over. She lives in Indiana. She's not running all over Indiana looking for items, not going to all the Walmarts that exist in Indiana hunting for clearance items. Now, you could do that. And people enjoy that business model, that love to travel. That we have people in our community that have an RV and travel all over the country and look for clearance stuff. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but it's more of a hustle. And so with Replens, these are items that sell over and over again. It becomes more stable. So talk to us about what happens. So you're at a store, you buy it, you bring it home. What's the process when you do that? How do you get it to Amazon?
When we first started out, we were doing it all from home. So we had, we actually would find friends and family that would give us boxes. We would have items, and Amazon does have some guidelines for what things need to look like when they go into their warehouses. If you can imagine, if you have ever seen a warehouse, they're dirty places, they're busy, there's a lot going on. Think about all the things you could buy on Amazon, and if all those things are in a warehouse, just imagine how much is going on in those warehouses. So
yeah, just Google Amazon warehouse, you'll see. And then things are stored. It doesn't even make sense. Like Honey may send in a party supply, and then I send in a mug, and they may be sitting right next to together on the shelves. And they have a way of that it makes sense. It doesn't make sense to me. You'd think all the books would be in one section, all the mugs would be over here, but it's totally scattered, but it works. Yep.
So we want to do our best to make sure that our items are protected. You know, we want to make sure that we're sending in things that are, I would say, in giftable quality. You want things to be nice. You want to think of yourself as the customer. If I was going to buy this, would I be really happy with my purchase? And so we always made sure we were finding the best quality items, making sure they're protected well. Some items would require, if it's a breakable thing, you wrap it up in a box or bubble wrap. Some it might simply just be, it might come in a really nice box and be fine, and put a sticker on it. Amazon will let you know about, you can put stickers on items so they know that it is your item that someone is purchasing. It identifies it as yours. And so we do things like that. But we would have just bags and bags of stuff when we were doing the retail arbitrage, going in the store and finding things and bringing it back to our house. We would have bags spread all over. Now, we were lucky enough to have an extra room in our house. So it's an office area that we use. And so we would have that where you could set it aside. I know some people that will just have it on their kitchen table, their living room. You do what works for you. For us, we did have that extra space, so it was nice. But it was still, just a room full of stuff. A lot of work for us to go through hundreds and hundreds of items. When you start out, little bit's fine, but as you grow, you're going to be sending in hundreds of items.
Sure. So this is not a get-rich-quick scheme, is it?
Oh, no, this is a process.
A lot of people ask me, I want to learn how to make passive income on Amazon. It's not passive, is it?
No, there is effort, but it is, for us, the key has been, it's outsourceable. It is something that I can teach someone else to do. I can hire someone else to help me with this. It doesn't have to be me just spinning my wheels and, I'm not just self-employed. Like, I own a business. I'm not just working and doing things. So
that is good, guys. She touched on something that I'm going to be talking with my friend Chris Niemeyer about, and record another episode today, in fact, about having a business versus having a job. So starting any business might look like you have a job for a while, and that's okay, because you're working towards creating a business out of it. And so she touched on outsourcing, and let's dig into that here in a second too. And that's how it allows you to do it all, because this business, guys, it's not something where you just get started and you're going to start making money for the rest of your life. You never have to do it's work. But again, I've never seen an opportunity like this where somebody can get started with no experience whatsoever. Honey had never sold on Amazon in her whole life, had very little money to get started. And now they have an amazing business. So there's just not that much out there. Yes, it's work, but yes, it's so worth it. And there are things that you can do to make it to where you're kind of exiting more out of it and working on your business versus in it all the time. And this is something that, if her family, they want to go to the beach for a week, her Amazon business still runs, and she will still be making sales while they're at the beach. And so that is cool too. It's not like totally dependent on you all the time. You can send in a bunch of stuff and then go on vacation, and that stuff's going to sell for you while you're on vacation. And you can even, with online arbitrage, she mentioned, you could be at the beach sourcing products too. You could be on a Walmart.com or another site ordering products, having those products shipped to a prep center. We'll talk about that here in a second. And the prep center will do all that work for you. And so this business can be a lot more hands-off than it typically is at the beginning. So talk to us what your business looks like now. You have 6 kids. You're a homeschool mom. Yeah. How in the world do you shop, source all those products, get it sent into Amazon, and homeschool, and just do golly, having a home takes work. You got to make sure the lawn is mowed. You got to cook meals. How do you do it all?
Outsourcing is key. It is not me doing it all.
That's good.
I have figured out slowly as our business grew that we had to have help. It was not something that we wanted to do. It was, it just became not fun. And so we didn't want to do it, nor was it wise for us to do that. That wasn't a good use of our time to just keep spinning our wheels and doing all that. So we did start out with actually hiring someone, just some high school students that would come and help us just with the prep work, because putting things in bags and put stickers on it it's a simple task that you can teach someone else to do, that if I can have someone else do it, then I'm happy to pay them. My profits were enough. I made sure when I was purchasing things that I could still afford to pay someone to do that.
Right.
They would do that. So we started with that. And even after a while after that, it became, we didn't want to always have everything dumped at our house. We didn't want to have the huge, honestly, the mess of that. After a while, it just became too much. And if we wanted to go, like you said, to the beach or somewhere else, we wanted to be able to where it didn't have to revolve around us being home. Us using our space. And so we were so excited when we found out about a prep center, a local place that would take our products, actually all of our products, from even shopping to the stores, that I can just go and drop things off. They'll take our online purchases. We can have them shipped directly there, and they will do all of the prepping, the stickering, the packaging. They ship it all off to Amazon for us. It's been a huge blessing that we have that freedom. I'm willing to pay that a little extra cost to them because they've given me back my time. They've given me some of that freedom that I have, that I can choose to use that, whether it's for more time with my kids right now in the season where we're homeschooling and I have a lot of young children, or if it's for a vacation, or maybe it's to grow my business in other areas.
Right.
I have the time for that because I've outsourced those things.
Yes. And she's able to only do things that only she can do. And what I mean by that is the thing in an Amazon business, you need inventory. And typically the task that is the business owner's responsibility is making sure there's inventory at Amazon. So that's more shopping, more sourcing. And so she could, that's where she's going to be the best at that more than anybody else. Although there are people who train and have shoppers and that do the shopping for them, because it is something you could train somebody else to do. You can train somebody else to look at the app and make wise decisions with your money. But she actually has, when she's doing replens or have replenishable items, she just has a shopping list. And that is totally something that she could just hand off to somebody else if and when she ever decides to do that. She could pay somebody $10 an hour to go to Walmart or wherever her sources are and say, just buy 5 of these, 3 of these, 10 of these, 20 of these, 2 of these, 1 of these. Very easy, very doable. Yes. And then she almost is completely taking herself out of the business of the menial tasks and is just working on the bigger picture of it. How can I grow my business? What are their streams of income? can I get into? What am I really passionate about? And we'll talk about this in a second, what the opportunity of selling on Amazon has done for Honey, and things that she would never even would have dreamed of, these types of doors, and probably would have been scared of them a few years ago. And now she's flourishing because of these opportunities that this business has opened for her. So guys, we'll finish up with Honey in the last segment. This is Ryan Rieger with Streams of Income. Remember, you can get my book, Streams of Income, for free at streamsofincome.com. Okay. This last one. This is the last one, right?
I think so.
My goodness. So we started it. Yeah. This has to be because of the time that it is. 10:47 your time. Okay. This is 10 minutes and 30 seconds to 10 minutes and 40 seconds. Okay. All right. So in this one, we want to finish up with the outsourcing, the opportunities, and then freedom and flexibility. We've kind of been talking a little bit about that, but I'll tee that up as far as like, hey, because of the opportunities you get to speak about this, and let's talk about what this business has done for you guys personally, and what, the freedom and flexibility it's given you.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have other streams of income currently because of Amazon? I mean, I guess the Legends Group.
Yeah, I was going to say it's kind of there's not a lot of consistent ones. I'll have like people pay for little things here and there, but it's not like consistent stuff. So,
well, except what we pay you for Legends.
Yeah.
So, okay, we can talk, maybe touch on that. Okay. Guys, welcome back to Streams of Income Radio. I'm your host, Ryan Rieger. You can get my book for free, Streams of Income, at streamsofincome.com. And all the show notes, all the links that are mentioned ever in any of these shows, you can get at streamsofincomeradio.com. I'm speaking with my good friend of many years, Honey Woods, even though she's not very old. We know been many years. I've known her since 7th grade. She was a 5th grader at the time when my mom started a teaching job at a Christian school in Anderson, Indiana, and she had been there all of her life, going to school there all of her life. And so known her since that long. It's been a while, but she's an amazing success story in my community. And I'm going to be featuring a lot of success stories because it's what gets me excited. And we're talking about an Amazon business, what it's done for her and her family. We've talked about how she's a homeschool mom of 6 and is able to do it all. You would think that would be impossible, but we talked about outsourcing in the last segment. So let's touch on that a little bit more. You have a company that you can buy items at a store and literally just drop them off and they'll prep them for you.
Yes. I will purchase things, just whatever store, whether it's Walmart or wherever I go, I get things. I have bags of stuff. We fill up our vehicle and I just drop it off at a warehouse and pass it off to them. So everything after that is theirs, and they get it ready and they send it to Amazon for me.
My goodness, guys, they're prep centers all over the country that'll do this. Some of them allow drop off, some don't. But with online arbitrage, where you're buying stuff online, there are so many of them that you can have those items shipped from that .com site to a prep center. That prep center will do everything Amazon needs to be done on the products. They'll ship it to Amazon for you. And so you can literally have a very hands-off business with regard to the prepping, the inventory side of it. And in fact, my friend Danny Stock has a prep center in Illinois. It's called Pro Prep and Fulfillment. I'll put the link in the show notes. So honey, talk about you're going to be speaking at the Proven Conference in Illinois in a couple weeks. So we'll talk about the opportunities that have come up as a result of that, a result of you just kind of stepping up and serving in the Amazon Legends group that we have. But freedom and flexibility of e-commerce, that's going to be one of your topics. What are you going to tell the folks there about that?
Honestly, it's a piece of it is just my story about how our family was able to own our own time again. We get to choose that, we didn't have to be stuck to a routine and a schedule. It's a huge blessing with our homeschooling. If I have We want to get in the vehicle and let's go on this adventure. We want to go spend a day at the zoo learning. It doesn't have to revolve around a 9-to-5 job or hold on, do I have this day off of work?
Right.
We have the opportunity for that, and our business is still running because we're doing that. We've got just so many things. I had sick kids a couple weeks ago, and I didn't have to worry about getting the day off and being home with my kids. I didn't have to worry that our business was going to fail, or I'm not working at a place, even owning my own business. If it was in an actual location, I would have had to be concerned about who's going to watch my kids and what I do. I get to be home with my kids, which is, for me, that's a really important thing for me. I'm able to homeschool them because I choose to do that.
Yeah.
The ability of this job, our bills can be paid, our things can be taken care of. The business is still going to run, but I get to do it on my own time. Everybody's business, anybody that does this, it's going to look different for different people. But I know for me, this is what it looks like, and it works for my family, for me with 6 kids and homeschooling. There may be somebody out there that, maybe it's a young couple that has a ton of time that they can just spend all day, every day sourcing, and that's what they want to do. They want to grow all kinds of different things, teach courses, do all of these other things, and they have the time to do that. And that's awesome. That works for them. There may be people that they really don't want to go in a store and shop, and they hate shopping in stores. Maybe there are people that want to go look at places, garage sales or other places. Right. And if that's a good fit for you, then that's awesome. I love that this job, it's not really a job, but for, this is our income, that this has the freedom that we can choose what works for our family. Right. We want to travel if we wanted to. We've talked about it before, but with 6 kids, there's different logistics. But, if we wanted to hop in an RV and travel at full time, we could do that if we chose to. That is the freedom that comes with this, job. Whether you're somebody that, maybe you're a caregiver that you can't go places, you need to take care of a family member, whatever it is, you have the flexibility with this job to do that your business runs without you being hands-on all the time. There are countless different ways and opportunities for you to be able to provide for your family through this. It isn't just the go in a store, buy it, and send it in necessarily even.
Absolutely right, guys. There's like in the Proven Amazon course, it's more of a library than a course. It's like a buffet. Another way I look at it, you literally so many different options that exist for having a successful online business. She mentioned a lot, garage sales. You can go to thrift stores. You can go to retail stores. You can shop online. You can have a virtual assistant, somebody that lives somewhere else around the world shopping for you even. And there are people that do that and almost have a completely hands-off business. And they're able to do what they want with their time, which is so awesome. Honey, let's talk about some of the real quick opportunities that have come along. She stepped up in our Legends group and is a huge help, works behind the scenes, does a lot behind the scenes in the Legends group and out in the open more. What are some of the opportunities that have come up as you said that, hey, I want to serve this group?
What's funny is I've always been a person that's been behind the scenes. I prefer to, really I love serving, but I never wanted to be the person that was out front and got the attention for any of those things. But as I've done more of these things, I've seen that honestly that God uses these things, that my heart to serve, He's given me more opportunities and opened up different things. So not only now do I get to still do some of those behind the scenes that I do enjoy doing, and that's things that I think, giftings that I believe that I have, that I can do those things, but other opportunities to get out in front, share my story like this, help and teach other people in the things that I'm doing that I would have been scared to do before. Honestly, I didn't feel the confidence, and I don't know anything. I guarantee there are so many things, little bits and pieces of this, and there's something that somebody else wants to hear. So I've just gained confidence in that. Like you mentioned, I've got an opportunity to speak at the Proven Conference coming up.
3 times. You're not on just once. You're on the main stage one time and then in breakout 2 other times, right?
Yes, which is just huge. That is it's very humbling for me, and I'm super excited about it. But that's huge because literally, I was talking to somebody yesterday. My whole life, if you know me, I've been terrified to be speaking in front of people. I've not had the confidence to think that, I don't know. I don't know what it was. I've always been terrified to speak in front of people, thinking that whatever I had wasn't important enough that I needed to be sharing those things, and it was okay to just be the behind the scenes, where I love that because I've just chosen to step in even behind the scenes and serve and help. Honestly, even our business in a way is serving. It's finding what the customers want and providing
Absolutely,
that.
yes.
But in so many different ways, I've made new connections, new friendships, just different things that have come up because of choosing to serve. It has increased my influence.
Yes.
People have noticed in the community where I'm at, they've noticed, hey, she likes to step in and serve, so where can we fit her? Or I want to connect with her. It's opened up conversations and opportunities I would have never dreamed of. And I never asked for. I wouldn't have said years ago that I wanted, but now I love that is a place that I'm in, and I love the opportunities that God has given me in these things.
All right, we got about 1 minute left. Talk to the woman out there who is like totally here under, like, they may be a homeschool mom, or maybe they just desperately want to get their husband home. Maybe they desperately want to get themselves home. What do you tell them?
It's possible. I think that was the scariest thing for me, was thinking, this is somebody else's story and I could never do that, or that's only for that person. But I'm telling you right now, it is absolutely possible. There are tools out there. There are communities out there that can help you. It is absolutely possible. Set the goal and go for it.
Absolutely, guys. That is spot on. It is totally possible. Honey just put to work the resources, the information that we're teaching in these communities. Big one is the Amazon Legends group that we're a part of. The Honey helps out a ton with. And it's opened up the opportunity for her to basically head up this Q4 group that we're going to do at the end of the year, teaching people strategies for having an awesome Q4, which is the busiest selling season of the year. Guys, this has been awesome. Honey, thank you so much for being on here. Don't forget, you can get my book, Streams of Income, for free at streamsofincome.com. Also, all of the links that we've mentioned in this episode are at streamsofincomeradio.com. You can listen to replays, full replays there. And it's actually going to be turned into a podcast soon too. So super excited about that. Honey, thanks again for being on with me. I appreciate it.